Hey viewers and viewers, my name is John Red Strategist. Welcome back to So You're Being Hunted. This is episode 296 now. My god, we are approaching the 300 mark. But, it's going to be a couple more weeks at least before that. But of course, we're back here with the Seeding Violence Challenge in the last episode. Finally managed to get my hands on another shotgun. After we managed to precipitate precipitate, is that the right word? Prompt, or, initiate a fight between some of the locals. We also got our little rifle here as a bonus. And what was originally going to be another rifle, but then I realised you can't actually carry multiple instances of the same gun in your inventory. It just converts it automatically into ammo. So you know what? We're going to count that as rifle number 2. These are going to be bonuses. We're going to go back to the centre island and we're going to deposit them because we can. Okay, he says that as he keeps talking. Okay, here we are. So we'll deposit our spoils back at that mansion that we were using as our base, and then I think we'll try heading off to another island, because why the heck not? And then we'll continue on with the challenge as usual, ladies and gentlemen. Now, just as we're kind of getting into things here, I have an interesting topic of conversation, something which I was just before I started the recording for this game, for my recording session for today, basically, because I was I need to record a few episodes of various series on my channel. So, for example, my RTCW series, I needed to record the next episode of Real Flying Saucers and stuff like that. But I also needed to record some episodes for this game. Oh shit! I don't want those guys there. That's what I've been using as my base. There's guys over there as well, unless I can lure them towards each other. Yeah, they're just hanging around over there, which is not really ideal, is it? Okay, so yeah, I was just saying, I was doing my recordings, trying to get, making sure that these episodes were all in place, recorded, ready to go on the channel. But as part of this session, obviously, I'm doing these videos. But before I did my recording session, I was actually just on YouTube. I've come across a channel lately, which, I found kind of interesting. So some of you may have heard of a channel called Outside Extra, extra being spelled without an E. It's just XTRA. Don't know where you guys are fucking going. Can you go over to where the bottle smash, please? But I found this channel recently. They do obviously do a lot of sort of video game related content. They do sort of list type videos of 7 best puzzles in video games, or 7 best video game bosses, or whatever. Basically, stuff like that, pretty much. Which is always, good and fun to listen to, and whatever else have you. But, yes. So, I've been watching a few of their videos, and there was an interesting one that I was watching just this afternoon, which was pretty interesting, given that, because, probably I've had conversations about this sort of thing in the past before here on So You're Being Hunted, particularly probably when Phil has been with me. But in essence, obviously, I was very much a kind of 90s kid. I grew up in a time when, I grew up in a decade which had some really kind of diverse and interesting video games. A time when, games companies were really kind of experimenting with new stuff. When things like 2D games were making the transition into 3D, stuff like that. And so this video that I found from Outside Extra was something like 7 platforming franchises which basically after the 90s pretty much died out. Which basically platforming franchises which came about, well, maybe not came about in the 90s, but which had their kind of heyday in the 90s, but which today have, to some extent pretty much been completely forgotten. So yeah, it was an interesting video, and there were some interesting names on there which really kind of jogged my memory, and I thought to myself, oh my god, I remember that franchise, but I'd forgotten about it for so long. I forgot it ever even existed. And one of the big ones for me was Earthworm Jim. Do you remember that game, anybody? Or that franchise, rather? My god. So the thing about the exact dates... But yeah, Earthworm Jim, I think maybe it started in the 90s, maybe it didn't. But basically, I think the last Earthworm Jim game, original Earthworm Jim game that there was... What the fuck is... Jesus Christ. Well, I can't even jump up there. It's just steep crags, isn't it? Or can I? I don't know. Hold on. No. Fucking hell. What a fucking terrain generation this is, Jesus. Anyway, as I was saying, so Earthworm Jim, I think the last original game in that series was in 1999, and that was Earthworm Jim 3D. So the thing was, Earthworm Jim, it obviously originally started out as a 2D platformer, as a lot of franchises did in the early 90s. And apparently the first couple of games in the Earthworm Jim franchise were pretty good. You know, they had a lot of good reviews, people really loved them. Then, of course, you had Earthworm Jim 3D in 1999, and the problem was that a game which had done really well in 2D, obviously, you know, they were really kind of trying to experiment with it when they took it into 3D, the devs that is, and unfortunately it didn't work, and I don't know, according to various sources, that's what kind of killed off the Earthworm Jim franchise. Earthworm Jim 3D just didn't get very good reviews, things like that. But the reason I talk about it is because, you know, having been reminded of it, I can actually remember playing the demo for Earthworm Jim 3D back in the day. Oh, look, another bonus rifle. I guess I'll take that, because why the heck not? Scanner, mushrooms I'll eat. There we go, right. But yes, you know, now that my memory has been jogged, I can sort of still picture some of the levels from the Earthworm Jim 3D demo. Man, that is a flipping nostalgia trip. I wonder if I can buy that on Steam or anywhere. Do you reckon it's even available? I'll have to check. I'll have to see. Because you never know. Because the thing about me is I like playing old games here on the channel from time to time. It is kind of fun. And, you know, and the thing is, you know, you can find old physical copies of games on eBay, things that are not available on places like GOG or Steam or anything like that. My voice did just break a second ago then, I know, I'm aware of that. But, because the thing is, I still have my old PC, the one I was using before my current build, which I have now, and, you know, every so often I try out old games on there and they do still work on that computer, and I can use Bandicam to try and record gameplay of them. And so yeah, I like doing old games sometimes, because, you know, I've also done things like Half-Life here on the channel. I've done a few videos on Tomb Raider as well, the first Tomb Raider game. Man, Tomb Raider I need to actually get back to. That's a game that, you know, back in the day, me and Phil were doing a collab of it. We did about 6 episodes together, and then I did a 7th episode months ago. God, I need to get back to it. I really do. So yeah, I'll get that at some point. But, you know, who knows? Maybe Earthworm Jim 3D, or maybe the older Earthworm Jim games. Maybe they're on Steam or GOG or something. I could try them out. Because, like I say, I do like playing some of the classic games. Because the thing is, when I was a kid, back in the 90s, you know, my family, we didn't have a lot of, you know, we lived a comfortable life. Don't get me wrong. We were sort of, you know, middle class, but we didn't have all the money in the world to just go splashing out on video games. So of course there were a lot of franchises which I kind of iconic franchises which I sort of didn't get to play as a kid, just because obviously we didn't have the money. So, you know, because like the classic Half-Life, for example, from 1998. I never played that as a kid. I've only played that in the last couple of years here on the channel, and it's amazing. You know, it's good that I actually finally got to play it for the first time. And there, you know, there'll be so many other games which I just never experienced, and which I'm only probably really experiencing now. Now that I'm obviously an adult and I can buy my own games, I have my own job, my own source of income, and all that. Yes, but you know, getting back to the original topic, obviously, like platformers which came about and really had their heyday in the 90s, but which after the 90s were just never really heard of ever again. You know, there were ones on that Outside Extra video that I watched which I hadn't actually even heard of before, like Mr. Nuts, which was a funny one where your character was a squirrel. There was what's it called, Rice Star, where your character literally is like a 5-pointed yellow cartoon star with a smiley face on it, something like that. Yeah, these were some real obscure titles. I mean, of course, one of the big ones, platforming titles, which you know, only ever had one game in the 90s. Technically, it had a spiritual successor in 2008, which I did play here on the channel. Captain Claw, obviously, but of course, Captain Claw wasn't a bad game. Captain Claw was a cult classic, and in fact, it still is. There's still, you know, whole fan communities based around that. And, you know, I play that every so often here on the channel. And like I say, I played its spiritual successor, Nikita, the Mystery of the Hidden Treasure, just a few weeks ago. So if you're interested in seeing that, go and search for it here on the channel. Nikita is an example of a bad game, let's put it that way. Yeah. The thing about Nikita, you know, the whole story about the story behind that was that originally that was going to be Captain Claw 2 in 3D. It was supposed to be released in the late 90s, but it never got released, and instead it got transferred to another company who, due to licensing issues, couldn't call it Captain Claw, so they ended up changing the whole thing to an original character who had no connection to Captain Claw to begin with. But yeah, that's my own sort of example. Good stuff right there. So yeah, if you want a playthrough of a game which is clearly, objectively not very good, check out my Nikita Mystery of the Hidden Treasure series. Pretty funny. Okay, right. But getting back to what I was talking about, obviously Earthworm Jim. The thing about Earthworm Jim was it had a very distinct character who, you know, because he's an earthworm, I think the whole kind of gimmick of the gameplay was that he could sort of move his body in ways which maybe other characters in other games wouldn't have been able to. And of course, part of, I think, if I remember correctly, the whole sort of gimmick with Earthworm Jim was how sort of kind of crazy some of the premises and the environments and things were. Like, for example, I remember in the Earthworm Jim 3D demo there was a character called Snot, who literally was just a glob of snot. Yeah, I remember that. Man, the things that video game developers sometimes do, eh? Yes. Okay, right, I'm just switching my match book out for the proper match box. There's multiple use and all that. I also picked up this revolver as well a little while back, but didn't say anything. I've counted that as a bonus weapon as well. Bonus points for getting the revolver too. Alright, revolver ammo. We won't take ammo, we'll just take the guns. Okay, toy train, I'll take that. Right, I think it's time really to start trying to get some robots to fight each other if we can. Because I haven't really been doing that. I've just been fucking around talking about this video that I watched and this thing that it got me thinking about and all that. Right, I think there's 2 groups of robots in this town. We just haven't seen many robots, have we? That's all. Maybe we can attract their attention, sort of get them to go towards each other. Get them to go over there. I like how my character can throw bottles really far in this game. There's 2 hunters there. There's a dog coming along over there. Maybe if I chuck one over in this direction now. Just get them moving towards each other if we can. Yeah, there's 2 groups of hunters there, but yeah, it doesn't look like they're having a go at each other. Hold on, try that again. Amazing that they don't see that bottle arcing through the air. But, sure. Yeah, I don't think they're going to fight, are they? It's not going to happen, is it? Nope. Nope, you didn't see anything. Nope. The dog nearly saw me, but not quite. Yeah, it just feels like there aren't many... Oh, God. Aren't many robots spawning on this island just yet. It just feels a bit empty. Or at least a bit sort of... Well, it has a lack of population, to put it that way. Yeah. So let me know in the comments, ladies and gents, just to steer it back to the topic of conversation. Any kind of big platformers, or in fact not just platformers, let's extend that to all kind of video game genres in general. Any video game franchises that you remember from your kind of childhood, which at the time, maybe, you know, in the sort of 90s or the 80s or whenever, were fairly big, but which were only really iconic in that decade, and which time has now kind of forgotten. Because I think that would be an interesting topic of conversation. What about the franchises I've mentioned, for example? Any people out there who are fans of those? Let me know in the comments. Because that's the thing, you know, it's always nice to have a little conversation about what people's favourite games were and whatever else have you. Okay, we've got another revolver there, but obviously that's going to turn into just revolver ammo I want to put in here, but you know what, that's fine. We'll count it as an extra, because it was originally a revolver. Right, I'm getting loads of fucking alarm clocks and stuff. I need to start putting some of these to use. We've got more robots over here, which is good. Maybe we can try luring them towards the others. I don't know. We'll try using the alarm clocks, maybe. Do you reckon it would work? Don't know. Maybe put it down to 20 seconds. And actually move it over in this direction, back towards where the other guys were. If he'd turn around, that would be good. I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to leave a line of alarm clocks down. Okay, back up. Back up a little bit. Over here. Then put maybe another one down over here, perhaps? Hold on. This is like leaving a line of alarm clocks to try and draw attention. Okay, that's one. Okay, they're not going to hear it just yet. They surely will hear it over here, won't they? Uh-oh, someone's near. Time to get out. Oh, look at that parkour. Straight over the wall and out there. Okay, they're all going to hear that. It's going to direct everyone close to each other, hopefully. Okay, we stay on this side of the canal, though. Just hear a massive alarm clocks all going off. Go on. Oh, no, time to back up a bit there. Hope they see each other. Hopefully. Yeah, look, they've come all the way from down there. They have. Okay. We'll use the bottles if necessary, just to keep them going towards each other. Throw one over there, for example. Keep attracting the attention. Get them towards each other. Alright. We've got a whole gang of them here, but they're not firing at each other unless I throw another bottle and hit one of them on the head or something. We've got that guy's in the friggin' water. Damn it, they're just not going for each other, are they? They're not taking the bait. They're not having any of this. Because they're clever, that's why. Maybe they know that I'm here, trying to stir up trouble and whatever else have you. Unless, hold on, what if I get my toy train, put it to moving mode. Okay, back up a bit. Hold on. Oh! I hear gunshots. Or I did hear gunshots. Crap, that's not a fight that I've instigated, though. Shit. I'm not going to be able to count this, am I? Where is that? Where is it coming from? Oh, it's a big town over here, you see. And there's robots up there. Who's around? Someone was shooting, but I don't know who. Problem is, that was not a fight that I instigated, so well, according to the rules of this challenge, that doesn't count then, does it? Well, shit, that's no good. There's a squire over there, though. Was it someone maybe had a shootout with the squire, perhaps? There's two robots over there by that. That was weird, wasn't it? I don't know. Maybe we should use up our one outstanding clock over here. Maybe we could actually try and get those guys from over there, the squire from over there, and those robots from over there if we can. Alright, put that there. Let's just drink some stout very quick so we got a bottle, back up a bit. There's robots over there as well, hold on. If I throw this over there, try and time it. Okay. People hearing stuff. The hunters actually heard that over there, interestingly. It's kind of peculiar. So hopefully they might all hear the alarm clock when it goes off. If it goes off soon, hopefully. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, there's quite a few of them who heard that. Right, back up. I'm hoping that maybe the squire will get involved in this. Maybe take a few of them out. I don't know. I'll have to see. God, if my drunkenness could clear up soon, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? Okay, hold on. Just throw another bottle to keep them all clumped up together. Oh, they're not doing it, are they? They're not having it. They're not having it at all. Can you instigate trouble by shooting robots? Do you reckon? Is that possible? I don't actually know. Maybe shoot the squire and just see if he aggroes on anyone. Uh-oh. Okay, now they're shooting at me. Oh, that was not a good idea. Okay, so I kind of, you know, maybe, you know, I can't get shotguns from them if they, if I'm forced to kill one of them, but no, we're just going to get clear. Just get out. Oh god, if I can get over that. There we are. I was kind of hoping that maybe the squire, if I shot him in the back, might aggro on the hunters near him, if I then get clear. So his, you know, his AI maybe just goes for someone else. Okay, I think I've lost them. I think. There's guys behind me in the town, but yeah, it sounds like they've gone up there. Okay, well, tell you what, I think I'm going to have to wrap this episode up here. This was episode 296 then, everybody, of the Seeding Violence Challenge here in Sir You're Being Hunted. Not really, well, any further along in terms of shotguns, but we heard someone having a shootout, but again, like I say, that doesn't count for us because we didn't instigate that fight. So, no, we're not really any further along in terms of progress. But I suppose the beauty of this challenge is it gives us, plenty of long episodes where we can do podcast-style discussions. So yeah, topic of conversation, even everybody. Video game franchises from the 90s, 80s, whatever, from your childhood, which at the time you played them, but which today are barely remembered or are just kind of dead. They haven't had any new installments for a long time. Feel free to have a chat about those in the comments below. In the meantime, if you're not doing it already, Facebook and Twitter links down below if you want to sign up to those. Stay up to date with my uploads as and when I publish them, as well as my propagandist channel if you want to check that out. And of course, like and all that jazz. You don't have a choice, ladies and gentlemen. You have to go and do it. Because otherwise, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with you if you don't like this video and share it with your friends on social media? Well, I'll tell you what's going to happen. You better like that video and share it with your friends, or I'm going to execute Order 66, and you don't want that. Goodbye, everyone. Looks like he slumped over in his chair, though. Library. Okay. Whoa! Go! Fuck! Jeez! What was that? Fucking hell! God, I wasn't ready for that. Jeez, and the music's going crazy. Why the hell is the music going crazy? Bloody hell, oh God. Are you kidding me? Oh, lovely. Wait, have you got... He's got no head, everybody.